So hello everybody and welcome back to the tutorial series for Siralim Ultimate that I'm doing. We are going to explore the content after the story today, and I'm pretty excited because that's, for me, where the actual game starts. So before we get started again, a quick shout out for my person. I did a big rework on my Patreon and I'd love you guys to check it out. Basically, there's now a method for you to participate in what kind of content will come up if you want to do that. And beyond that, I also wanted to mention there's donation links down there. This channel can really use your help, and I'm really grateful that you're listening to this. So let's get started. We want to get down in higher realm depths now. So after you're done with the main story, you have unlocked all these realms that you can visit now. And we are now following a real long path of unlocks, so to say. We can now unlock not only new specializations. If I remember correctly, we should have unlocked a couple of specializations that weren't available in the first place, like the Royal. I don't think I had that. And we can also unlock new realms, so there's a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 extra realms that we are able to still unlock via project. So there's really a lot of stuff that we are still up to do. There's a lot of new things that we can unlock content-wise. Now let's see where this will lead us. Aikichi, hi there. Yeah, I was specifically thinking about you when I started that stream today. I was like, you asked me for that the other day, and I didn't find the time to do so, and that's why I wanted to put it up there. Glad you're here. So, what I'll do next is I'll do the realm depth -1 and just take a stroll into a random realm and, oh yeah, unicorn hunting. That's a good topic. At this point now, we are looking for two things. First off, we want to increase the performance of our team, of course, because there are still a lot of things where we can do better. And the second thing is we want to unlock, of course, as many things as possible for us here. Hey, there's a fresh unicorn vivifier for our summonings. That's what I've been looking for. With these yellow stars, the one I picked up, where you get to select from the 3 choices, if you ask for glory, you're always going to face up against a couple of unicorns, and that's a pretty useful thing. Whoopsie, I thought I had the playlist on the beginning, but I haven't had that. Yeah, good moment to put up a shout out for that playlist as well. I happen to have put that as well into the description box, so if you want to listen to the cool music of Carl Casey outside of the stream, there's the playlist for that. I can highly recommend that. It's a very chill playlist. It's actually one of my favorites of the work of his. So let's take a dive into the mirror ball fight. As you see here, we are at this point clearing out normal fights very easy. I'm very glad that this is the case. This is a very healthy point to be at. The only thing that's still bothering me a bit is that the health bars on my critters go too much uppity while we're fighting. So if I can't make that stop, I'll have to implement a more solid resurrection chain. Some builds are just not made to last, you know, some builds are just glass cannons, and you have to accept that. And then the best choice is to work around that as good as you can, like, for example, install very solid resurrection chains. But there's a lot of methods and tools that we don't have access to yet. And that's why progression is so darn important. But we also have to take care to improve our team. What I really want to do first, and that's why the Cloud Realm was really good, I want to take out the creatures out of my formation which I feel like aren't providing too much. And the fusion on my Unicorn Vivifier was a very unfortunate pick. I'll show you. I fused it with a Clutcher, And the trait of the Clutchers is awesome in its own regard. It counters dodging pretty well. And the problem there is the Doom Knight, the Hell Knight, I'm sorry, features a perk that makes your attacks unavoidable. So that trait is flat out useless for us. I've been avoiding leveling it up as long as I could. And yeah, I noticed some of the projects are about monsters. That's God Spawn. Every god features a god spawn. So to say something like his personal avatar. Although that's avatar is probably a word that I don't want to use, because you can summon an actual avatar of that god, and the god spawn is more like the kid of those gods. I don't know how to put it, but it's a very special, unique unit linked to the gods themselves. And there is even a whole specialization focusing around playing with God Spawn, the Fanatic. And yeah, that's roughly what I can say about that. So we are able, yeah, let's do this. So you see, I'm using the Divination Candle. Whenever I want to level, I love to use the Divination Candle, but because the Divination Candle provides easy fights, you know? Whenever you run into a Divination Candle encounter, there's a high likelihood that this is going to be a quick, clean sweep. There you see. And we get a decent portion of XP, and whoopsie, that's what I don't want. No, I didn't want to take that. We take a decent portion of XP and other good things out of that. So here we go. It is totally worth picking up the Divination Candle if you want to level up or if you want to hunt cards. If you don't want to do either of those, I wouldn't recommend it too much, because it's making the run take longer, you know? And often, if I just want to clear out a realm real quick, I try to avoid things that make the run last longer. Alrighty. But altogether, I feel like we are already at a very good spot. I'm absolutely curious to find out what we're going to fuse our fresh Unicorn Vivifier with, because that's actually a really interesting question to come up with. So your old Hell Knight account in tutorials section. I have to look it up later. I can't remember what I did there. Well, oh yeah, I also wanted to talk about the farther future of this series. So I want to take this series at some point to a level where we're mostly going to talk about specific character classes. That's going to be the late game of this series. Basically, a stream per class where I'm going to talk about what I personally think about these classes, what I did with them, what I see as options, and so on and so forth. I know you guys enjoy that kind of theory talk, and I felt like that's the ideal final stage of this video series project, because, you know, this way it'll keep its tutorial character, and at the same time I'll be enjoying some fun. But I guess I will take that back on my main account then, once we are seeing the new content and all. That's the long-term plan. And as you can see here, these summoned creatures, they are dying a lot faster than any other regular party showing on up here, and that's why I love the Divination Candle for the sake of leveling up so much, because you get easy to clear fights, you get quick clear fights, and gosh, level design, please. Alright. There we go. There are still a lot of mechanics that we are still up to unlock with this run, don't you worry. We have right now, I would dare say, about access to a bit more than 50% of the tools that you will have available at the end of the road. But there's still a lot of things that we don't have access to, which is a shame. So we wish for glory. I like that. All right. I like to wish for glory at these things, in case you're wondering, because this provides me God favor. And God favor is starting to be more and more valuable. Oh, yeah, determination. Determination is an awesome spell. This is one of the best spells in my personal opinion. The combination of max health gain and defense gain is godlike. You can really use this for longer lasting fights, and this is one of my favorite spells to have as a fallback option when a fight goes into the extra long stage. The cool thing about determination is it provides survivability and really a lot of it. And if we stay with the traits that we have right now, my combo translates that directly into defenses. But I think at the end of the day, this might be not what we're running, because I want to make this team as Hell Knighty as possible, if that's making any sense. So, where's the teleporter? I think I saw it back there. This is one of the nuttiest levels that I've been in since a while. So let's head on back to Siralim and let's summon us that Unicorn Vivifier. So that's been actually what I've been after. So, do I have anything available that I want to run here? So the Kolos Doombringer is a fun thing to make my team last longer, but I don't think I need that. My creatures with leeching deal 30% more damage and are immune to blight. Very likely that I want to pick that up. After my creatures gain a stat other than attack, they gain 50% of the stat as attack as well. Also very decent, but I don't think I need that as badly as I need the Leech Digger. So let's combine that here and get ourselves a nice unicorn with a red mane. And let's use that guy henceforth. So here we go, level him up to the max, and it has a high speed rating. Interesting, interesting. Okay, now let's replace that. Never forget to unequip the spells and weapons from your creatures, because it's one of those things I keep forgetting, you know. So here we go, that's the new Vivifier. As you see here, the old one had a better bias towards attack. This one has a horrible bias towards defense. Well, let's see, I do have tomes already, so maybe I can find one that's more appealing to me here. So, defense up, speed down. No, attack up, intelligence down. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to have. So here, the personality is now brutal. So I wanted to check out as well if I have by now access to the Requiem spell. I don't. Too bad. This is really, really sad. Okay. Requiem is one spell that I really, really, really want to get into this team as well. Let's see what kind of Dispel spells I have at my disposal. I need the Mass Dispel as well. At least once. I need to fix that in. I hope I have... Oh yeah, I have a Clean Dispel. But there's a one way better version of that, one optimal version. Banish. I want to pick that up as well, because we're starting to to fine-tune our team now towards a lot of different problems that can come up, and minions and overbuffing and overbuffed enemies can be really, really an issue. So let's see, what do we have here? I've forgotten how the good Master Spell version was called. Like, I know that there is one that's only affecting the enemy, and that's what I'm actually looking for. But it never hurts to take a stroll around your spellbook once in a while. Because spells offer a lot of answers to different problems. But well known. Oh yeah, Void Flare. Void Flare is also a really nice one. This is extremely good against those chain resurrection shenanigans that some units like to pull off. Okay, we'll check out these situations when we need them. So, upgrade Dispel. I want Mass Dispel as well, although I don't really want it, but you get the idea. Let's upgrade Banish and Void Flare as well. Here's one issue though, we have not a single creature that's able to use these, so we have to change their color. So let's class swap the Banish to Life. We happen to have a Nature and Life a lot. So, oh, I wanted to upgrade them even further. Forgot about that. I don't know if I have the necessary gems for that already, but I want at least to give it a try. So, enchant. Now, Banish ain't that important. The Dispel is very important for me, so let's swap that over to Nature, and let's see how many Generosity thingies do I have. Only one. Whatever. I think that's so far the most important one. And Mass Dispel, well, let's swap that over to Life as well, so now we can equip them. You are already geared out. You can carry one more. You can carry something, and Dispel is now on Generosity. That means every creature in my team has access to that. I love the Generosity buff a lot, because it is just the cheapest way of making sure that you are going to have the spell you need whenever you need. It's only one charge each, but as a matter of fact, judging from my own experience, one charge is usually all it needs, you know? And I forgot the re-equipment of the artifact on my Unicorn Vivifier, so let's forfeit that real quick, because you can't re-equip artifacts while you're in a realm. So, here we go. That sword is really important because it has... Oh, we have an open stat slot for everybody. Let's change that as well. As you see here, I'm really trying to crank out as much performance as possible. So health and attack, I'm actually most after, let's see, attack and intelligence is tasty, but I actually prefer attack defense combo right now. It's the Rose Amber, isn't it? Yeah. So here we go. I'll smack these in everywhere. So that's another 30% extra stat bonus for everybody. That surely doesn't go unnoticed. Okay, let's retry that. Okay, looking good, eh? The thing here is we have just had an increase of another 30% more attack and well, it's certainly more because defense gets translated partially into attack, and also our creatures are taking are doing outright 30% more damage. So fun times, at least for us. So let's see how that'll roll on through. Oh, and I need to take care to put a spellcaster in front of my team, because I still have that trait which procs on out a firestorm at the beginning of the fight. This is definitely worth picking it up, or worth modifying it, because every free proc that I get is pretty useful. You find trick slots not that useful? Neither do I, but there's a couple of gems that are actually pretty useful. I'll go on over these on our next back. But I agree with you insofar that there are really... many of these options are, for me, not worth a slot, because it's way easier to get the job done otherwise. For example, buffs and debuffs. If I really want to apply buffs and debuffs, I know a lot of more reliable ways than these slots, and that's something I feel like, yeah, underwhelming. Pretty underwhelming. But there are a couple of things that you can use, if I remember correctly, that were pretty good. Oh boy, we're kicking ass. So I'm very close to swap on over to Unstable Realms, because you see, the regular difficulty is posing no difficulty at all. The thing here is, though, I do see the vulnerability of this team, so I'm very afraid that if we run into any one-shotty instability, we might have no chance whatsoever. So I need to try that out, though, how this now works on out in detail. Although I think the Rose Amber slots, the attack-defense slots, are pretty good for this combo. Because stacking on up on defense like that, if you do that long enough, it really starts to shine. So we have 0 enemies on this realm. Let's change that by summoning a couple of green foxes. I'm still not done with leveling my dudes a bit, because we were soaring through the story like that. I really want to take care that we are not that heavily underleveled. Besides that, you really need to gather yourself some resource, It doesn't fall from trees. Well, okay, there aren't enough trees that it falls from, but you get the idea. So, we found a Terrawarp's card. Have I tried creating same race build before? Oh yeah. I did that a couple of times with the Tribalist, but not too much, actually. So I am very lucky with cards today, I must say, or with this account so far. So here, as you see, the effects of the cards are very, very unique, and you can get extremely special traits. But what I failed to mention all the time is that cards also provide a passive stat bonus all the time. And the more cards you have, the more these percentile bonuses will show to pack in some weight as well. This is in this regard, Siralim shows some incremental gaming moves, and I cannot say I wouldn't like them. So here we go. Yeah. I'm still not sure what I should think about the Azura that I got. Sure, it is nice that this guy has 200% harder hitting crits, but at the same time I feel like there are so many cool party-wide buffs that we could pick up that I'm really not sure if I really want that. So we have reached another level with Apocrynox. That's awesome. Another Riddle Dwarf, Zonte. I know that that's the refuge of the Magi. Stop it, brain. You're not that silly, I know it. So at this point, your gameplay is a lot about diving deeper and deeper, and it's about your own matter of taste if you want to tackle that with instabilities or not. I'm personally torn every time I do this, because instabilities are sure fun loot-wise, but they really make it a lot slower. So the TLDR there is, the faster you want to progress, the less instability you want to put up. But the problem is, the less instability you put up, the more boring your entire encounter will be. Mostly because, you know, no challenge makes things dull. Too much challenge makes things also a little bit annoying, but you get the idea. So, yeah. And to all the people watching this, maybe also as a video on demand, feel free to leave me comments about what kind of classes you would like to see featured in this tutorial series in the future, so I know what I need to prepare. So we are done with this place, I think. I cannot remember that I have found the teleporter, though. I'm done with this place, I say. There's 12 enemies still. Yeah, well. Oh, another thing why grinding out monster parties is so important is that the materials for projects, here you see we're finding after each fight creature parts. Creature parts are not dropped on the map. Creature parts are only dropped by encounters, so you need the grind, like I say. That's why it's important to have a team that's able to lay down the damage real quick, because otherwise you'll be just taking too long with whatever you do. So let's see. Well, the problem with a team able to sweep through instabilities is right now that I would need to be pretty lucky with the trait shards that I have, and the Hell Knight is not the most ideal first class of choice, because it's a very squishy build. I have literally only one trait that's really mitigating damage. Petty Bunny, while I agree you shouldn't pressure yourself to do realm instability, you can definitely make teams that... Yes, Petty Bunny, you can totally make teams that clear out a RI5 like a RI0. Exactly. But it's it requires options. Many options I don't have right now. I feel like the lack of creatures and artifact trait slot items is the biggest issue there, and progression is more valuable than the fat loot that you get out of the instabilities. Because from my own experience, it is fine and all, but well, it has to be fun after all. Pixel, hi there. So happy to see you. And I feel like the divination candle mobs are among the best things that you can go after if you want to have some catch-up XP. And it's also really nice to get the resources out of that. Although I have to say, these Terra Warps, they are extraordinarily resilient comparatively. On the other hand, this guy does a lot of damage. So I want to show you one thing here. We're right now starting to rack up blessings. And as you see here, blessings are really damn good. 50% more treasure from tents, for example, is a real big one. 50% is a really high modifier, so it's really worth it. Oh, my Goblet of Trials is full. Cheers! So... this place gives you a pretty nice amount of rewards, and once it's filled, it just repeats. Now then, let's check on out our creatures. I want to know which traits are kind of disposable. I'm not too sure if the Azura as he is really that much of a good choice there. I mean, the On the Rocks trait sounds pretty good, but it's also convoluting my turns. Although this trait is a real boss killer, gotta say, because we have that trait rockin' where we need a sec, where we gain here, where we gain stats whenever we attack, and the combination of getting extra attacks by the amount of times we have cast a spell, I have a chance to cast a spell whenever I attack. You get the idea. This can result in a bajillion of attacks. So I think the On the Rocks trait is pretty cool, but I'm personally not a big fan of stuff like the Pummel trait. Yes, it's a lot of damage. Yes, sure. But so far, dealing damage to my enemies was the least of my worries. So let's see. After an ally attacks, this creature deals damage. So this one is, as a matter of fact, also... well, I have a hard time with this one. For one, it is really good to have this one source of indirect damage in your team like this one. Like a source of damage which is neither attack nor spell. It's really important to have that, because some enemies are actually immune against attacks and spells altogether. So I don't want to cut this out. This is my only source so far, but if I ever find a better source of indirect damage, I might want to swap that out. And anticipation is just outright amazing, you know. So here we have the extra damage from leeching critters, and we have a chance of this dude attacking whenever a creature takes a turn. I like this because this guy is my Resurrector. So what does this show? I have a, well, I see this guy as the most replaceable part of my team so far. And apart from that, I don't really see anything that I really wanted to take out. So let's take a quick glance into our toolkit. The thing here is we're going to gain more and more options now. And can I try Blood Mage or Reaver next? Yeah, sure. Blood Mage would be a new thing for me as well. Reaver is something I never made work satisfying. But that was also before we had a lot more different options. The Reaver has gained a lot of new spells that he hasn't had before. So I'm looking specifically for things now that make my team die less quick, you know, because that's right now the biggest issue I see, that my creatures are keeling over like crazy. And that's something I really want to change. I want to check out the I could play a Necromancer, call him Magnus. Sure. But I can't name people. Why exactly Magnus? So I'm looking for a specific raise of the guards. So the guards are really good at keeping your people alive, you know? Take less damage, percentile. Bam! Flat. My creatures no longer take additional damage from crits. It's also pretty good. Adjacency. So... are you referring to Grandpa from the last stream? I have a very bad name memory right now. So, I don't happen to have the god that I want to have. There's one type of god which buffs up the damage resilience whenever your team takes damage, which is a very powerful thing. So, let's see what we can do instead. So... The fluorescent end would be the next best thing. Actually, even better, because this is... yeah, let's do this. So, let's see. My Azura is fused here with what exactly again? On the rocks. So, I maybe want to opt on out this on the rocks thing as well, but I think it was the Centaur Ranger. I want to summon one so I have the trade available. I'm looking for more party-wide things here, because I feel like we already have all we need. I don't need a super attacker. I actually want to have things that keep my dudes longer alive now. I am quite tempted to pick up the Kolos, which is increasing the max health whenever we get healed, but I know it is not that much of a good thing. The start of each creature's turn, this creature recovers health. That's good on you. Creature extra defense. No. Griffin. It's really hard to find good defensive options at this point of the game, though. So, if you ever notice creatures that have... oh, we could also go for an oozing leech and add in barrier to our into our toolkit as well. That would be definitely an option. I find creatures that add traits to the team help to survive more than those with defense. Well, I can't follow you exactly there. But I do like creatures that add in things that help the entirety of the team. So, the Crimson Manticore would actually also be kind of a help, but I don't want that. Minotaur Battlemaster. So my critters get more defense the lower they are. So let's check out the Nephilim. Maybe I find something there. After your creatures take damage, your other two creatures take 25% of this damage. No. No thanks. Although this is a really, really cool trait, because this makes the global... This would make the global stat gain that I have a lot more appealing, because I do gain all 4 stats, and this would help a lot. Okay, well, this indirect damage. Priests are pretty useless altogether. Sanctus, so, well. Satyr, Shambler. That's all no material, which is good for resilience. Sparktails are all about damage reflection. Unicorns. Well, let's see if we find something about these unicorns. Nah, not really. Uralaws. Oh no, the Uralaws are only buffing each other. Valkyries are also not helping here out. No, we really don't seem to have much more options than the Fluorescent Yeti, which is a bit of a shame, but whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter too much. Or didn't I say that leech? The oozing leech? So yeah, let's do a combo of that. I like the idea of that. So let's fuse the oozing leech and the fluorescent end together. So we have even more utilization of the Mend Leech combo, which is actually pretty good for my team altogether, because I feel like this is probably a lot better than just having one another hard hitter. You know, this is now definitely a big chunk of survivability for the entirety of the team. Let's see how that'll work out. So we have to equip Dispel to the Crypt Band. And like this, you keep optimizing your teams a lot with this game. And that's one thing I really love about it. It's really hard to find the optimal solution right away from the get-go, because most of the builds are that complex that it's really hard to say, yeah, sure, you should always go for that. It's not that easy. So, Trick Slot. With Trick Slot, there's a couple of things that I really do like. Here, Whetstones. Creature deals more attack with attack, deals more damage with attacks. For my combo, top notch. And Slippery Stone, increased chance to dodge if you have a dodge-based combo. Brilliant. Then Pump Drill, additional spell jam slots, also extremely good. Yeah, Jagged Rock, well, if you go for crits and you don't have an auto crit, but I'm not too much of a big fan there. Armor Scrap, less damage from all sources. And Arcane Sigil, more spell gem potency. These things are the real powerful things in the section of the trick slots altogether. So let's see. I want to have the Unicorn Vivifier's weapon as good as possible here. So let's see. Unicorn Vivifier has one open trick slot. Let's put in a Whetstone here. You see 68 freaking % more attack damage. That's not a small thing. So let's see if we have any extra thingies there. We're not going to go for the sigils there, because the sigils usually only make sense if you're actually rocking the creature they're referring to. So maybe the Phase Warrior indirect reduction of 70%. Yeah, I saw that one too. This is the Phase Knight's 70% reduction of indirect damage is a power trait. It's a real power trait, because if you ever run into that problem, it'll totally nuke you, because there's not much defense against that. But right now, I would love to have that as an artifact trait, you know. Shield Aura, pretty massive too. Chance to gain shelled whenever you take damage. So far, I haven't seen anything cool. So, oh, we could add in the Azura's trait back into the fray. We have that one as an artifact trait. Quite an interesting option to take that as an intermediate thing, because you can always rip out the trait item out of the actual artifact. You don't get the Heart Ripper 2 back, but you can free up the slot to fill in something else once I find something better. Your creature's barrier buffs have 50% more absorption. Kinda interesting, but not too much. We will have a lot of barrier through the leeches, but doesn't look like we have a lot of cool things there. The only thing that I'm... well, let's see. Yeah, let's put that on the on this item, because why not, you know? It is synergistic, and I'll just slap it out once I don't need it anymore. And I mostly do this because this is one typical item that I won't be using ever if I don't use it now. So if you ever run into things like these where you feel like, this would be good for now, but not for later, just plug it in, because you chances are otherwise you'll be never using it, you know. And until I find a better material, I'll just leave that in and have a hard-hitting bat. I'll take that. That's one of the things I actually totally miss on my main account, that need for improvisation. When you have all the options available, I get into this kind of a decision paralysis, you know, where you have so many options that you feel unable to make any decision because I'm unable to keep all the options in my mind, and yeah, not a good thing. So we are going to clear out of this realm, and then we are going to amp up the realm instabilities little by little. Gorgeous so far. I see such a brutal bump up in my clear speed right now, just with these little things. So this shows very well that the party-wide buffs take you much further than the other stuff, and this trick slot item, especially towards you, Aikichi. Did you see that the Unicorn Vivifier just did a 5-digit attack? So that there is only a handful of really useful things on for the trick slots, but the few things that are useful are really good. So just so you know what to use them for. That was awesome. Yeah, I agree. It totally went over my expectations here. So 8,800 at the without buffs, and whenever we get attacks out, we buff our stats. It's really important, and I cannot stress it out enough, that you have to find a mechanic for every of your builds that is somehow scaling. The build that doesn't scale is going to die in the later phases of the game. That's just like it is. You will need a mechanic that will help you through the longer lasting fights. If you're only able to one-shot weaklings, then you will have trouble in the later stages of the game. Silver Wolf, hi there. I agree with you. It's but you have to know, though, that this game also has a really long development process behind it. I mean, there's Siralim 1, 2, and 3 before Siralim Ultimate came out. I only played Siralim 3, and I can say it's a massive bump up quality-wise. So, if you want to get into the franchise, there's no need to pick up the other titles, in my opinion at least. Unless you really want to support the dev and you're a really cool person, then it's absolutely worth it, of course, but this game has all the polish, and the dev is really hell-bent to make it deserve the ultimate tag. And by the way, we are also unlocking now bajillions of new creatures with our while we're progressing. That's why I didn't break my noggin too much about what we did there. So there is a good chance that I'm going to utilize a different mechanic later. I'm especially not too sure about the whole defense mechanic that I'm running there. I really want to use that, because it's a little bit anti-synergistic with the Hell Knight per se. So we unlocked the refinery, hell yeah! I'll be working on the increase of maximum projects next, and we'll go on and add a new decoration. So we're going to add in the refinery. The refineries are absolutely cool. Let's slap it down here. And I wanted to show one other thing, because that's if you want to remove something, move on over to it and press E, so you can get into the interaction menu. Thanks a lot for the person that gave me the comment, which solved out that issue for me. I prefer games like these over those with high graphics, which has no depths. Yeah, it's a tragedy nowadays. It's all shine and gloss, but no depth. So at the refinery, you can salvage artifacts back into resources. You can destroy spell gems, nether gems, and most importantly, at least in my humble opinion, you can convert one resource into another. And that's a really, really good thing to do, because you'll get a lot of cool stuff out of that. So we're going to hop on over now into instabilities. I bet that we'll have no problem whatsoever with a tier 1 instability. Oh, Netherrealm. So Netherrealms are always cool because you get something special in there. Here, for example, we get to play a game where we are allowed to open chests until we open a chest with an insult in it. I didn't make up the rules. It's not my idea. Just repeating it. So here we go. And immediately smacked the Dispel on the Mimic. As you saw there, it's now still taking not that quickly damage, but without Dispel, it really takes a lot of time. So, well, we're really lucky this time. You suck. Yeah, that's the end of it. So here we got that. I really want to check out how far, instability-wise, this team can already take it. So here we get rocked all over by the firestorm and the attacks of the enemy. But the cool thing is the Hell Knight trait gives my creatures a percentile damage reduction according to the amount of HP missing. So that means if they miss 90% HP, they have a damage reduction of 90%. It's pretty massive. I like that. The humor of this game is awesome. Yeah. Some people don't like it, but I actually love it. But what can I say? I'm also playing NGU Idol and I love Borgi's humor. I like people that add in a cultivated little amount of cringe. Can't put it into different words. Yeah, Hell Knight is not a good class for high tier instabilities in my opinion too, because the whole perk tree is a lot about a hot and heavy alpha strike, and you don't have too much to follow up with. The other classes have so brilliant perks to get started with longer lasting fights, whereas the Hell Knight has... I must say the defensive trait of the Hell Knight is pretty amazing, don't get me wrong. That damage reduction is is outright bonkers, because it basically says if they don't manage to one-shot you, you're really freaking resilient after that. But as good as that might be, it's really not enough to make it be less glass cannon-like. So, yeah, I agree with you, Void, there. But I felt like the Hell Knight is nevertheless an ideal class to feature for absolute beginners, insofar that it has easy to grasp mechanics, it has a lot of oomph flowing just out of basic attacks, and it's easy to optimize because you don't have to think around corners with the perk tree, you know, or with the traits that you pick up. You can trait this team pretty straightforwardly. So we have a creature master here in front of us, and you see here we have a massive overabundance of buffs. So I'm trying to find my one critter that has the mass dispel. That's why I want to have mass dispel on generosity as well. As you see here, these guys are dying rather slowly. If we'd had the mass dispel on them already, they'd die a lot faster. But you can't have everything, I suppose. Wow, a lot of dodge, but that won't happen too often in the future anymore. Okay, so mass dispel wasn't necessary. Would have been, although, a really, really good opener. Just ripping off the entirety of their buffs to make sure that you can get in there and deal some good damage. By the way, sometimes you will face enemy creature masters that are featuring very unique creatures, and you won't get the ability to summon them afterwards. The Eft here for are a good example. That's why I came up with it. The Eft are a race that's exclusive to Apocrynox. Every god has not only a god spawn he can provide, every god also has a race that's exclusive to his realm. So Apocrynox has the Eft, which you can buy for emblems at his shrine if you have enough god favor. So every realm also features a unique breed of creatures that you can get, that you can buy. That's why I, by the way, plan to make this a pretty long-running tutorial series, because, you know, there's a lot of stuff for me to cover. I appreciate that. You guys are, by the way, a really, really awesome audience. I wanted to let you know that. This is one of the most appreciated pieces of work that I do, you know? That's a feeling I really appreciate. Cheers. So, let's summon us more baddies. And as you see here, we don't have too many options for the summoning in general, because we don't happen to have much creature knowledge. That's because we haven't killed many creatures yet of particular types. And here I wanted to do this also to show you that the realm instabilities make the divination candles suck a little bit harder, because we suffer here from swapped stats. I think that's also the reason why the combat is taking a little bit longer. But altogether, Valkyries tend to be a little bit chewier. There are certain races that you can summon at the divination candle that are more annoying than others. That's I can't put it into different words. Some creatures happen to have traits that stack pretty well together, and some just don't. Well, I always feel like it's best if both parties appreciating each other, you know. For me, doing my work without an audience sucks. I can't put it into different words. Lately, I've been even considering stopping to stream Factorio, because I don't have enough audience. I don't want to whine. I just want to put that up because it's just like that, you know? It's it goes both ways, that's all I want to say. Alright, we have another Pandemonium King, and the Pandemonium King fights are the ones I really want to win every time, because they are just that bountiful. What kind of Pandemonium stuff did we get this time? The Pandemonium Leaf. Let's check it out. So, the Pandemonium Kings are dropping always pretty unique items, and there's a small list of different Pandemonium items, and they are all pretty good. So after this creature attacks, it casts Extinguish on the enemy. Yeah, thanks for not telling me what Extinguish does. Can we check it out? Here. Kills the target if it has less than 33% health. Alright. Sweet. So the artifact would include a finisher. Yeah, the Valkyries suck. I hate them a bit, gotta admit. But on the other hand, I really like how much punching power we got here. I'll tell you what, we're going to scuttle on over from here, or do we? No, we don't. There's just too much to be discovered here still. And there's still 15 more Valkyries to be taken down. I mean, I'm basically softcore card farming right now, but at the same time I really want to get on up some more XP levels before I dive that much deeper. Also, creature knowledge. We are so freaking low on creature knowledge, but that's a side effect if you go through the story like I did. If you personally take a slower approach to that, you won't be needing to regrind after that. But I bet I could also just progress now downstairs if I'd want to. But, well, for me personally, I really like to do things like these from time to time. Also to find out how everything works, how much fun I have with grinding on these guys, and so on and so forth. Working on the incremental parts of your Siralim game. Because that's maybe one part why I love this game so much. It is a multi-layer game. It is not only a monster catching turn-based strategy combat game, it also has a lot of incremental game features behind it. And a lot of things that give you the satisfaction in ARPGs. A lot of ARPG players have had a very, very good verdict for Siralim Ultimate as well. I have seen a lot of people that were playing ARPGs mainly mentioning that this game was totally their cup of tea. And what can I say? I have played Path of Exile to a very unhealthy extent. I have played Diablo 2 to, well, I don't know. I think there was a time in my life where I did more Diablo 2 than actual living, and Diablo 1, I cleared it out with the Hellfire expansion on Hell difficulty. Only with one character class, but that was already painful enough. I can say I love ARPGs. I'm stopping the list here. There's more on it, but let's just say I'm a total victim to this genre too. So yeah, this Flame Strike spell really is not doing too much for us. I would love to have another mechanic that gives us more reward whenever a spell cast happens. It was a nice idea to utilize that Centaurs thing where they attack for each cast spell on that turn, but it turned out that this was not that cool because at the end of the day he kept attacking the same thing over and over and over again, and that was not as efficient. Nio 2. Alright, I never played that one. Yeah, well, the best games are those that mix in different things together without telling you at the first at the very first glance. I personally loved all the games most, which were like, okay, I didn't expect to have this game a well-made system like that, and so on and so forth. There's really a lot of things. Okay, we have now unlocked the arena. I'm not going to talk about the arena right now, though. I just want to tell you, quickly summarize, the arena is a draft mode, and it deserves totally a own video. That's why. So, we unlocked the Assassination Mission too. So, this is the first type of content which utilizes our creature knowledge. We can start this project on each creature I have S knowledge about, and I get a guaranteed drop of that creature's trait material. So this is a lengthy way of farming trait materials. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, this might be even a way to farm exotic creatures' materials, because if you have enough creature knowledge, you can at some point summon it at the Divination Candle. If you have it at the Divination Candle, it's only a bit of a grind to get it to rank S, and then you should be able to do this. I would like some confirmation on that, because I have been not that far yet, but this should work, in theory. So in practice, of course, that's not what we can do. We're going to unlock the training mission next, and sadly not more. And we're going to go on deeper, and now into Realm Instability 2. Let's see how long that'll work out and stays fun. The stat swap of the other realm was a real bummer, because my creatures are, of course, made to hit hard. So let's see, the enemy heals 46% each turn, and they start on out with a mending buff. That's really not much to worry about, because when we hit hard. So that's not really any issue. What's a real cool thing about that is I see so many creatures the whole time with no HP bar below their feet, which means that they are pretty vulnerable to our stuff. Yeah, and you see here we're clearing out monsters extremely faster. As you see, some instability traits are much more of a bummer than others. Here it was really the stat swap which made my creatures suck quite hard in the first place, because our entire firing power was gone. So here we have a creature master ready to nuke us, but I'm not too nervous because my red ghost guy is still alive, and he'll resurrect the entire team when he dies, so we're golden. Jack Attack, hi there. Dyson Sphere Program? Aw man, nice to hear that. Dyson Sphere Program, that tutorial series is a It's really important to me. It's not done yet, but I really... Oh man, I can't say how much I love License Fee Program. Thanks for that comment, man. Appreciate your friendly words. And License Fee Program is really a... I really can't wait for it to be done. So, the Chandra Cherub. Cherubs are usually all life class. And don't worry if you don't get the questions from the Riddle Dwarf right. It's not that much of an important feature. You can assassinate exotics. God spawns are also worth a mention. You can have God spawn trait items, really? Cool. I mean, it doesn't come to come as much of a surprise. It just didn't cross my mind in the first place. Thanks for the mention, Patty Bunny. So, yeah, we're totally melting these guys. These assassination missions are kind of like what you need if you really want to dive on deep into specialization. It can be really helpful, though, if there's really something that you want, and I can only tell you one thing out of my own experience: it does not take that terribly long until you have a real high amount of creatures that you can summon at the Divination Candle, if not all of them. Creature Knowledge C is not that much of a big deal. It's the super rare creatures that get hard to summon at the Divination Candle. Everything else is pretty much quite easy at some point, you know. Yeah, I really like what I built there. It's a real nice early game build, and we're carving through this quite nicely. And the more instabilities you can... let's go for the carvers. The more instability levels you can tank, the better the rewards get. This isn't so far really interesting because it allows you to build better quicker, because you will have more brimstone, you'll have a higher likelihood of finding trade items, you'll have a higher likelihood of finding trick slot items, and as you saw there, trick slot items, if you have the correct ones, can be extremely powerful for your combo. Imagine if I had enough whetstones to slot that into my entire team. Like, if I would be able to get this bonus on every single frickin' trick slot in that formation, that would be really big. Sadly, I don't have these materials, but the chances of these materials dropping, they are getting higher and higher the higher the instabilities go. But at the same time, don't crank the instabilities to a point where the game just outright frustrates you, because that's not worth it, you know? My personal opinion. Find the sweet spot between a good and nice clear and a bit of a challenge and a nice loot. That's not as easy as it sounds, but it's something worth working towards too. So I'm super lucky with my cards today. So we have found the Kava card. And cards are really tasty because they give you those sweet permanent stat bonuses. That's why I'm starting to grind them as quick as possible. There's simply no reason not to, because it just gives you so much extra for no effort at all. You just have to carry them around. That's all. And as you see here, we also don't happen to have much effort to take these guys down in the first place. The carvers are a good example for extremely easy to take down creature types. Here we had a little bit of a... They cast a spell that allowed them to make my critters attack each other, and that didn't go down so good. Mostly because we're now suffering through a cascade of boring events. But whatever. That's just fine. There we go. So brutal. Man. So much damage. And it's only rookie numbers. That's all I can say. So yeah. and I'm really liking to take these down, even though I already have the card. Although it would be also totally okay to say, all right, I got my card, let's scuttle on over. But at this point of the game, I'm not that far yet. So I just wanted to say, if your creatures don't stop acting and keep attacking and attacking, even though everybody on the field is dead, there's a decent chance that somebody will come back. Wow. I'm really satisfied with that clear speed, gotta say. Although there's still incidents of my critters dying a little bit fast. But I think the barriers also help a lot. Because the barrier is a nice way of having virtual HP. But it's also a thing which does make the whole buff yourself when healing and gain stats when healing part less and less interesting. Because, you know, like I mentioned in the first place, when a trait says, do this and that when the creature gets healed, it always refers to effective healing. It doesn't refer to healing that's hitting a full HP bar. That doesn't do anything. You need the cleric's trait to counteract that. The cleric has a trait which exactly does mitigate that problem, where it does make healing effective regardless of the HP bar. That's the big superpower, by the way, of the cleric. This unlocks a lot of strategies that are unique to the cleric class. So if you can get that perk via anointments, it's really worth it. If you don't know what anointments are, don't you worry, I'll be covering that, of course, as well. So we're going to go now, after this is done, for a handful of realms without instability, without divination candle, because as you see there, the divination candle is bountiful and all, but it's also lengthening the run quite substantially. So go for the divination candle if you're out for a farm. And I personally would recommend to go for the divination candle on non-instability realms, preferably, because the card drop rate is not increased by the instability realm item bonus. It's not. There's no no benefit when you're out for cards when you're on higher instabilities. Not sure how it's with the nether gems though. I would need some information from a person which is deeper in it than me. Don't know if nether gems actually drop more often in deeper realms, in higher instabilities or not, or if it's influenced by the drop chance altogether. But I'm pretty sure somebody out there will know. If not the chat, then the comment section. So we're going to go now for tier 3 instability. So this is going to be bigger than before. And I wanted to show you here what you can buy there. So here, for example, Azural is featuring the Smith species. Seriously? It's not Yetis anymore? So Azural has a new species. The Smiths weren't exclusive when I started out. Okay. Smiths are interacting with your creature's artifacts a lot. So, Resplendence inscription. So now we are on a tier 3 instability. And here, let's see. None of these traits or realm properties sound like a problem for my combo. It's really worth it to check them out, and especially when you are not up with a killer combo that has all the problems already solved before they happen. There are sometimes realm properties which are nigh unplayable for your team. Nether stones are affected by loot bonus for the quantity of them, and there's an increase to average nether stone level the deeper you go, but it is pretty rough limiting returns. I knew about the depth, but I didn't know about the drop rate. Thanks, Patty Bunny. You happen to know a lot about this game. You don't need that tutorial stream. Appreciate you here for answering those questions. Really, Patty. Hussein Pauls, I'm there. 8:57 at Belo Horizonte. Here it's 2 p.m. here in Germany. Here it's also 36 degrees Celsius. It's effing hot. Man, stupid heat wave. Alrighty, so I don't really notice that we're on Instability 3 so far. That's a very, very good sign. So the new creatures that we fused in did do a lot of damage mitigation, but I mean, it's not too surprising. We have now a 40% reduction due to the fact that my creatures are always mending, and I also added in another portion where our leeching damage gets transformed directly into barrier, which means whenever we do damage, we now also happen to shield ourselves, and that's a pretty powerful thing. Boom. There we go. Lots of damage. On a self here. Ow! So, I just wanted to say, since that's happening, I bet that one of these guys is going to rise on up again. So, the Gargantuan Master. The Master fights, of course, get spicier and spicier the higher the instability, and that's one thing that is not that cool about rocking the boat on the instabilities, but altogether, you know, the cool thing about realm instabilities is they influence the entirety of the loot everywhere. So also the items from the master, the actual resources and all, get multiplied as well, so it's really worth it. There aren't a lot of content creators for the game. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I always try to make content for things that are actually worth it. I'm not so much going after the popularity or such like games. I like to explain things. I like to understand systems, and if the system is deep and interesting enough, I happen to make a tutorial series about it. If it's not deep and interesting enough, I don't. That's practically how I operate. Siralim is pretty much a surprise for me, because I didn't expect such an amount of reception there. I did this because I do this in general, and turned out not too many people do something like I do either, huh? That's okay. So, what I do notice, though, the 78% more damage dealt are surprisingly survivable. I was very concerned when I saw that line and I saw the one-shots coming, but no, we are actually lasting through that quite well. As a rule of thumb, if the instabilities make your creatures keel over whenever the enemy taps them, you are probably suffering too much damage, or your damage mitigation mechanisms are not good enough. So, thanks guys, you're so nice to me today. So, but you'll be having to wait 2 weeks starting from the next Monday, because I'm going to go on a 2-week vacation with my family. We're going to go camping in the forest next to the mountain, and it's going to be awesome. After that time, I'll be back there again, of course. But I really can use that recuperation time. Really hope that I'll see some Milky Way stars, or a total a little bit more stars, because I'm living between 2 large cities, and there's so much light pollution at every time of the day that it's nightly impossible to see much of the night sky. Alright, that was Instability 3. Let's keep going, eh? So, Instability 4. I wanted to check on one thing. You gain more perk points while you dive deeper. Every level gives you, I think, 10 more perk points until you have the maximum amount of perk points reached. Yeah, it's a cheap camping place, a couple of kilometers away from here, and yeah, we're pretty poor over here, not gonna lie, and the place here was dirty cheap, and it sounded really cool, therefore. So, whole party wiped? whole party back up due to the Pandemonium thingy. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I was super lucky with getting the item on the first clear of a Pandemonium King. I'm going to showcase it one more time in case you didn't know it yet. The Pandemonium Rebirth coming from this artifact there, it's amazing. This is, in my personal opinion, one of the most amazing trait thingies that you can get from the Pandemonium King. This is such a good failsafe, because this basically counters every turn 0 burst that kills off your team. Because down goes your team, online goes your team. Done. But it really only covers that, but it's also a very, very versatile trait that has taken me through a lot of difficult encounters. And at the end of the day, you'll see that in almost all of my teams. Gotta admit. It's one of those traits where I feel like, why shouldn't you want that? There's only a couple of very few teams that were able to get the job done equally good without the help of this one. But then still there were a couple of encounters, boss fights especially, with a very, very hard turn 0 burst where I fell back onto that item, even if it was not part of the standard procedure here. So, here we have a really, really rough ride. So you see we're dealing less damage. The enemies have extra traits. Extra traits, by the way, I keep repeating that, is one of the worst realm instability traits that you can roll, because it makes the enemy extremely unpredictable. And if you are not super overpowered and one-shotting everything in your way anyways, it's a high likelihood that this is going to be a bad realm for you. Yeah, especially camping outside with those extreme temperatures now, it's a real cool thing, because nothing's worse than asphalt when it's that warm, you know. So this ain't going as well as I'm used to, you know. We're killing them off really, really slowly. We're not exactly failing either, but speed has slowed down quite a lot. So let's see, it's either the realm or the instability level. So let's see. We're going to go and try to win this realm, of course. And if we win it, we're going to roll on with another tier 4 instability next time. That's my preferred way. Amp it up gradually until I hit a spot where things go cranky, and then try it again. Spectral Rain. This is a massive spell. Spectral Rain is what you need for the... What's it called again? The Dreamweaver? Or what's it called? Dreamshade. Dreamshade was the name. Thing here about a tier 4 instability, though, is we have 137% more rewards. Every chest is a loot fiesta. So Plague get lots of debuffs, but we're actually cutting through these guys like they were paper. Chaos Nexus. Well, I haven't played the Dreamshade class yet, so I cannot say why that's a good or bad thing, but I would assume it sounds like it would be broken otherwise. Alright. And like I said, I'm now not using the cages anymore. Alright. So turned out it must have been one very unique trait combo. Like I said, extra traits makes things a little bit hard to predict. Well, I've seen a text guide regarding the Dreamshade where somebody stated that he can easily whip off quadrillions of damage with the help of the mechanics of the Dreamshade. So sounded pretty crazy. And by the way, crazy, keep an eye on the lower left corner whenever I open up something. We are looting massive amounts. Hey, an exotic portal! Wonderful. I love exotics. Hopefully I'll kill it. So, This is right now a pretty angsty situation for me because my red ghost dude was dead, and whenever that guy's dead, we're in risk of actually wiping. As long as he's alive, though, we can't really wipe. So we have a new critter. I sadly already killed it. Tsuchinoko. Well, once we're back home, we're going to check him out. You notice that we're finding so many items, and this is actually really valuable because this way we're going to amp up our options at the blacksmith a lot faster. It is a great spec, just the approach you have to take is a bit different, yeah. Now, looking forward to that. Really happy that there's still so much stuff that I haven't done yet with this game. Alrighty. That's a pretty solid one, judging from the fact that we're just working with the scraps the game has dealt to me. Although I gotta say, the Pandemonium Rebirth thing was a real lucky draw. But beyond that, it's nothing you wouldn't be able to pull off without. A early drop of the Requiem gem would have been comparably lucky, honestly. One gem that I'm still lacking. Requiem is a real cool spell, resurrecting everybody on your team. Put that on Generosity and you have a real good oh shit button on your entire team. There's a couple of little things that I think this series is able to transport to you guys, which make your party building a lot more reliable. It's definitely something I can see. So, turns out, except for a one unfortunate fight at the very beginning, we're pretty solid here. Come on, where's the last Iron Maiden? Ah, here it is. Would be a good riddance if we'd be getting killed now, after I said it's all cool and easy. So, let's see. I think its mantra is not to build around perks. That's crazy. So healing is damage, damage is healing? Oh, we have the max level blacksmith upcoming. Nice. Oh yeah. Let's go. But before I go on for that, I'm going to see the bathroom and refill my tea. Days like these, I need my fluid intake. So we have now the ultimate blacksmith, and we have room for another project. So let's start unlocking the Reaver class, since that has been requested, and the Blood Mage I'll do as well. So let's upgrade our remaining weapons. The thing here is, this is now a damn costly thing. You'll be paying a lot of money there. And the most money, so to say, is for adding in a nether slot there. And that's it. Check out the exotic creature. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Totally would have forgotten there. Here. Tsuchinoko. At the start of this creature's turn, it attacks a random enemy. I have that as a trait, as a trade item already. I find that a pretty sucky one, though. I really don't know what the big thing should be about that. So I have to check it out again. So spell gem now. How did this work again? No, not spells. Artifact properties. If I remember correctly, the spell gem slots. So, the spell slot on an artifact, if I remember that correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong, was acting whenever you attack, or there's a chance to cast that spell whenever you attack, even though you don't consume any charges of that. I forgot where I looked that up, because I know I looked it up. Maybe at the reference list for the... What relics? Artifacts. Here. Spell slots. Ah, yeah. It was more complicated, exactly. Swords have a chance to cast an attack, staffs have a chance to cast a spell and cast, and that's really important. That's really, really important. Because I haven't used that in the past enough. So, spell slots are insane. So, we are, for example, able to make something nice and nifty. Let's do this to give you a good example there of cool things that we can do. Let's craft ourselves one of those determination gems that I was talking so much about. And let's just socket that thing into, let's see. How about the Unicorn Vivifier? Boots look more useful. Yeah, the thing is, boots are featuring speed as a baseline stat. And you gotta see one thing. At the start of turn is guaranteed, but it's a one-time thing. Cast on attack is something that can proc several times. That's something you really should take into account there before you judge quickly on it. So we're out of Brimstone. No problem. We have the Reliquary now. So let's convert some of that crystal into Brimstone. And some of that essence into Brimstone. I'm not going to touch my other stockpiles though. I think that should be enough. And as you see here, we are using up our Brimstone at a really fast pace. But it's at least enough to open up the spell slot. And now let's suck it on in the determination spell. Boom. Alperin Burak. Yeah, well, I did enjoy my time with Amazing Cultivation Simulator for sure. It was a really great experience. The only thing I must say, the game lacks a little bit of polish, and there are a couple of things that could run better. So, oh yeah, now we are facing our first Nether Boss. So, Nether Bosses are going to happen now on every 5th realm, and they are basically the next progression chain after the story. You will get a lot of new goodies out of these encounters. Now let's see how that'll work out. Can somebody die now, please? I should definitely mod the bat's weapon too. So now, whenever the unicorn is attacking, there is now a chance that it's going to cast Determination on my team, which is increasing the defense and the maximum HP, which is pretty massive, you know? So let's wish for glory. Glory, glory. And if you can, killing off Nether bosses on instability levels is pretty much worth it out of a simple reason. You will gain increased rewards out of that, of course, as well, you know. Would it be boring if not? So we are going to definitely resurrect our red ghost guy. That's this guy has to be alive at all points of this fight, because we are going to die without him. And so spam out a resurrection on this fella. Yeah, you really notice the difficulty level at this point. So our enemy is slapped with buffs, so let's remove those buffs for the sake of killing efficiency. But these guys are just rebuffing themselves again and again and again. It's pretty annoying. So what's here the big problem is the combination of damage reflection, damage reduction, and the extra traits of the enemy. This is just such a this is one of these resilience combinations, how I like to call them, where it's really hard to kill the enemy off because they got so many resilience buffs out of the realm instability that it grows outright nasty. But on the other hand, as we see here, we're also gaining big rewards out of that. So I think it's absolutely fair to have to work that hard. I mean, on the other hand is we have here a realm item bonus of 248%. That's really a lot. So but this fight is going a lot better now. Alright, we'll see at the actual Nether Boss how good it goes. But before I head on over to the Nether Boss, it's really important I want to take the Creature Master fight first. Because if I happen to fail the Creature Master, but happen to kill the Nether Boss, then I'd be missing out the rewards of one of these Creature Masters. And I like to grind them out hard, because I really like the rewards out of these encounters. And if you miss them, they don't come back, so it sucks. Oh, I see a resurrection coming. Yep. So, as you see here, we are gaining lots and lots of spells there. This is also a consequence of the high instability rate. I'm actually surprised that we weren't smacked down before now. The enemies are changing a bit. So, not too worried about the situation right now, because Mr. Red Ghost is here for us. He's actually the best person to die last. And the worst to die first. Yeah, this is over now. So, yeah, this was one combination that was nighly not possible to play for us. But we took out a lot of reward out of that. So, let's see. We're going to try that one out one another time. If possible, can you showcase all your creature traits before ending the stream? Yeah, sure. Definitely. So, we have now extra health and extra intelligence on the enemy. Pretty high, but whatever. So Instability 4 seems to be right now the point where I am not able to clear with a high success level anymore. That's okay. I was surprised that it went down that well so much. Alrighty. So our enemies are actually dodging a lot. Not much longer. I promise. Wow, the dodge rate, man. Holy! So, do I already have enough hurt points together? No, we need to clear out one more realm, and then we got it. The trade, which ends this dodgery. Alright. And it's also cool to showcase here how high the differences can be. We have here 80% less item find rate than the last time, because these instabilities, they all have their own value. So some types of traits are worth more item find than others. What's really, really valuable about this whole thing that I'm doing are, in my opinion, two things: crafting materials and spells. This is why it's really valuable to clear out instabilities as soon as you can. But you'll get all the rewards over time, of course. You'll get the same rewards in just a little bit more time. That's all. Don't stress yourself out if this is looking too difficult or annoying to you. You'll get in there. You'll get in there, and at some point you want to. You want those juicy, juicy loot bits once you know how it's working on out. So, alright. Wow, the loot, man, the loot. This is something else now. This is now really, really something else. Alright, then let's see if we're able to beat down the Creature Master and the Nether Boss. Then we're going to feature the creature setup one more time, and then I think it's going to be time to end today's stream as well, sadly. But I mean, I do notice that after roughly 2 hours of streaming time, my brain starts to go into shutdown mode. Needing a break and all. Oh gosh, they are not dying that fast. Oh, you know what? Let's whip out a Resurrect, thank you. Rude. Damn, so rude, man. Alright. Another cool thing that I didn't feature as of yet is that with the higher loot ratios, we also gain more creature knowledge, because the creature knowledge is something you can find in the chests quite regularly, and therefore it's really cool to have that. Ooh. This fight is a little bit rough. Prevented Realm. Ah, they have a chance to prevent damage altogether. This is, by the way, also really, really nutty against attack-based compos. This chance to resist damage trait is really bad against me because I have a lot of procs that require a attack. But guess what? If the damage is totally negated, the damage is not, the attack is not counting as something that can proc anything. So this is a flat-out chance of not proccing, for example, my Resurrect. Uncool. I'm relying on that a tiny little bit. So we're going to take down, if we can, the Centaur dude as quick as possible. Thank you. So I probably want to mix the traits up a little bit differently in the far future. Maybe we'll have to do a bit of a refusings, but I'll be going over that when the time is right for that. So let's see if we are able to beat that. Oh gosh, this damage prevention trait is so annoying. Prevented Realm! Prevented Realm! Man. Rude. Oh boy, we're getting spells. Nice. And beyond that, of course, tons of other things as well. Pandem, I totally recommend. I started out with Siralim 3.2, as a matter of fact. I had Siralim 3 as well. Enjoyed my time a bit there, but honestly not that terribly much, because I found many things very clunky and unenjoyable. And once I came on over to Siralim Ultimate, I stayed there, and I enjoyed myself in a way that I didn't enjoy myself in Siralim 3. The major difference that really bugged me out of Siralim 3 was that to summon a creature, you had to extract the summoning knowledge manually, where here you automatically gather that at the end of the fight. You just have that. In Siralim 3, you were forced to do that as a action, and it really sucked because it had the same amount of well, not the same amount, a few less creatures than this one, but also already way over 1,000. So yeah, pretty annoying situation altogether. Just like the dodges on these enemies. You are going to dodge no much longer, I promise. Alrighty. So Creature Master is featuring Void Lords this time. Alright. Let's hope I'll win that. Creature Masters can be sometimes extremely rough. So let's see. We could use a Mass Dispel here. We are totally debuffed. Whoop. There we go. If the enemy is flinging a bajillion of debuffs on you, this is really, really good. Really good, powerful move. So these guys are really good at preventing damage in general. It's not only the realm, it's also the enemy themselves that are really good at preventing that. But we are totally killing it. Alright. Here. We are, again, massively debuffed by now. The worst part is the confusion on my dudes, so let's do another Mass Dispel to make sure we're not taking that much longer than necessary. Boom. Alright, nice. Creature Master down. Alrighty. Let's, of course, gather the loot that we get here. Would be a waste. No, seriously, if you ever happen to clear out high instabilities, try to pick up as much loot as possible before you leave. Alright, well, let's head on over to our first Nether Boss. Nether Bosses always come as very, very special encounters, and a lot of the Nether Bosses you'll be encountering in the future will be among the hottest fights that you'll be facing there. Oh, I might be even get one turn 1 kill. So, Ki Chi. Enemies always have bleeding. After an enemy takes damage from this debuff, all other enemies take the same amount of damage. So, this is altogether particularly harmless. This is really, really not that horrible, and by all means, it won't stay that easy. The thing here is, with the Nether Bosses, they work like that. This is only the first time that we're meeting Ki Chi. There is a entire catalog of Nether Bosses here in the game, and once we have killed this entire catalog a single time entirely, they'll start anew. So if we've killed them all, the first boss from the second cycle will be Ki Chi again. But Ki Chi will then have a much nastier trait than he has now, and he's going to be, of course, stronger because it's a deeper fight. The gist of it there is that the Nether Bosses grow more and more dangerous the longer you fight them, and I think I don't have any chance here whatsoever. And they'll come 3 times. In their third evolution, they'll be the strongest, and that's usually the point where you will... no, that's the point where if you meet them the next time, they won't have a new trait anymore. The next time we'll meet Kiichi, he'll have another trait, a more devastating one, working similarly like that, most likely. So it's going to utilize bleed as well. That's something I can already foresee, but it's going to be nastier, and that's true for all the Nether bosses. The first encounter is always the easiest with them, and from that point on, it's only getting worse and worse. So here, I already see our biggest problem is just we're not doing enough damage, and we're getting ripped apart here. So I have no more resurrection spell. That's bad. Let's see how many people I can resurrect before I go down myself. So here it was not enough damage. I bet that the Nether Realm has... If I wouldn't have had this stupid complete damage avoidance thing, it might have even worked. But that doesn't matter. When you're going down hunting Nether bosses with realm instabilities, there's always a fair chance of failing. Unless you're super overpowered. Okay, so we wanted to go over the creature traits one more time, and then I'm heading on off for this stream. So, here I run this leech, providing leeching to the entirety of the team. Pretty cool because we are an attack-based combo, therefore really powerful. When my creatures are healed, they gain a random buff. That's pretty synergistic with the leeching, and whenever leeching attacks attack, they gain stats. Massive. Outright massive. Here we have a defense gain on heal, and whenever we gain defense, we also gain the equal amount at attack. This has been pretty useful in the past, but this is now slowly going less and less useful because of another trait that I'll show you in a sec. We always have mending and therefore take 15% less damage. This is another thing of this guy. And a portion of our defense is getting added into our attack damage. And whenever our leechers take damage, they get healed, which is massive, for a portion of the taken damage. And this guy here is just spreading out some damage whenever somebody attacks. This guy also attacks whenever an enemy is killed. This is really cool. Probably wanted to consider that to put that on the Vivifier, and he deals more critical damage. That's a pretty random one, I just happen to have that. The Vivifier, everybody I guess knows him, that's just your regular Resurrector. And here we have an extra damage bonus for people with Leech, and an immunity to Blight. Very important, because Blight is outright the counter to Leech. And at the start of each creature's turn, the Vivifier has a chance to outright attack. Pretty useful for random resurrects. And here we have that thing. Whenever we are healed by the leeching buff, we also gain a barrier. And we have also a damage reduction while mending. I'm really considering to... I'm not sure if I'll keep the Dreams of Ice Collective Unconscious Essential Dignity combo. I'm not sure about that, because we already have a decent stat pump. I don't know if that's going to last. I'll only replace it if I have a better option that's doing roughly a similar thing for us. That's scaling and damage reduction. If I don't find anything that provides the same, only better, I'm probably going to stay with that. Okay, that's the end of today's stream. I thank you so much for watching. If this was a video on demand for you, comments go down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed, and of course consider subscribing. And of course, if you were watching this stream, I'd be delighted for the same things as well. And check out the description box. My channel could use all the help it can get. There's Patreon, there's PayPal, and there's also lots of other cool links down there you might want to check out. I'd be delighted if you did so. So, with that out of the way, thanks for watching yet again. Have a wonderful time, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.